I got like notes and stuff, and I have to go down and do some green screen, a brick of black, easy for me to say, green screen stuff, and I don't feel like doing it. So, the intros and the extras for like the videos. Here's part one of our conversation with, that kind of stuff. Because a lot of people have said, keep your intros shorter. Let's just get right to the interview, right? Some people have longer intros, and so that's just something we're trying. Top 5 albums. What are you? What the hell? Yeah, top 5 albums. I'm gonna get I'm looking for my. Hi, John. Guys, but it's nice to have you on here. I'm gonna ask you guys today. I can't even find it. Like, there's so many sometimes things. I like your intros. Oh, thank you. Well, my intros are very short. And the other day we accidentally, it was really funny, on the Canadian channel, Rock History Canada, we accidentally put on, well, it wasn't me, it was my son, accidentally put on, because he edits all the videos, me introducing a whole bunch of Mark Jordans. And I'm on there going, here's part 1 of our interview with Mark Jordan. And then like a second later, I'm going, here's part 2 of our interview with Mark Jordan, because I find that works better. We're able to get out more interviews. My top 5 albums are, yes, Deborah. Why do you have 78 in your name? Is that because that was a special year for you, 1978? Hey, John. Hey, Chris. How you doing, man? Nice to have you back. Oh, that's my son. Oh, Sue, thank you so much. That's very nice of you. Top 5. Well, actually, let's make it anything. Let's make it anything. If you guys want to indulge yourself, just let me know what you're killing me. I always find that hard. There's a reason why I'm holding on the cover Zeppelin 4. I'm not sure if it's one of my top 5s. Probably. Madman Across the Water is certainly in my top 5. Goodbye Yellow Brick Road, Elton John. Rumors, Fleetwood Mac. I would say Mike Rutherford. No, it's going to get long now. It's going to get all crazy. Mike Rutherford, Small Creeps Day. Toto, the 7th one. There's a whole bunch of stuff. I'm looking for... where is YouTube on here? Oh, here it is. I found it. So I can read from this live stream. Who is that guy? I got my COVID shot today. I got the Pfizer shot, by the way, today. I'm going to bring this a little closer to me. So I'm ready to roll. Oh, currently in background listening to Joe Cocker. Oh, cool. See, I'm always on here talking blah, 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 blah. I'm John Bowden. I'm so important. No, I like to hear from you guys all the time. And I like to hear, and it helps us guide, and I'll get to all the what we're going to do here based on what you like. Neil Diamond's Greatest Hits is one of my favorites. Marie Day. Yeah, I agree with you on that. I got Fleetwood Mac on 8-track. Chris Nodgrass says, I don't know if I have it on 8-track. Love your interviews, John, especially Simon Phillips. Thank you, Brett. You're listening to Joe Cocker in the background. Yeah. Oh, yeah, Ziggy Stardust, M. Moses. Why did you retract your message? Did I do that? Oh, that was you. The Wall. I have always thought, and I know it's sacrilegious to say this, I always thought The Wall should have been a single album. People say, what? How could you say that? Exit Stage Left. I like All the World's a Stage a little more than that one. But of course, Exit Stage Left covers a wider. I don't know why my thing is going around and around as if we have a bad connection. Yeah, that's kind of strange. By the way, so give me your top 5. I'd like to know what your top 5 is, because we can start basing what we do on this channel on what you like. Top 5 albums. Thank you, Timothy Willis. Wills? Should have my reading glasses. Beatles, Rubber Soul. Love that era of the Beatles when they were going from that band to the other band. Rubber Soul and Revolver. Chicago, Transit Authority. Good pick. Good. They're first. Blood, Sweat, and Tears. Second album. Black Sabbath, Paranoid. Boston's first. Yeah, and many more. You know what? You just said it. It's impossible. When people ask me my top 10, I always find it hard because there's a top 10 from back then, and then our musical ears sometimes mature or else are more forgiving, or wherever direction we go. As a music fan, it can sometimes change. I look at my top 5 from 78. There's some sugary, not 78, 75, there's some sugary stuff on there that I don't listen to anymore. You ever notice that, you guys? Do you agree with that? That if you looked at a diary from, let's just say you're my age, I'm 61. In 75, I was 15. If I looked at a diary of what I was listening to, because sometimes I'd write down every album I listened to every day, it would change. Andy Gibb's Shadow Dancing. Andy Gibb was great. Reuben Kincaid, number 4, The Doors. Reuben, did you give me another one here? Marie Day, can I say all the Zeppelin albums? You certainly may. Yes, of course. And no one can tell you you're wrong. Your top 5 is your top 5 or it's top 10. I love it when you give me the stuff you love. Sue Fields, Dreamboat Annie, by Heart, Teaser and the Firecat, Cat Stevens, Zeppelin 1, Second Helping, Leonard Skinner, and Abbey Road, The Beatles. Good choices. Escape by Journey, that'd be up there. That'd be up there for me too. I think I'm a little crooked here. Let me go down a little. Ooh, there you go. Getting all crazy. I got my first COVID shot and I'm all nutty. Marie Day, you and I have a very similar taste. Richard Marx, Repeat Offender. ABBA Gold, yes. Dylan, Blonde on Blonde. Breesley Adams, hello. Thank you so much for the interview, Pick Withers. One of my favorite drummers. He is mine too. That's why they actually tracked us down in this case. Richard Kenmore. Jethro Tull Aquilon. Yeah, of course. Sharon Fox, Tears for Fears, Songs for the Big Chair. Great choice. They were on top of the world when that was released. They were like the biggest band in the world, you know. Timothy, you are right, John. Your ears do change. Yeah, they do. Because I'm going to do a thing on Rock History Book where we do our countdowns. I'll get to all the comments in a second because I've got them all here. They don't go away here. Where I'm going to come up with what I think. I'm going to come up with my favorite albums from 1975, for instance. Thought was the best then. And you'll see the difference because I thought it would be an interesting series because of how your ears mature. And we really do. I mean, some of that stuff, like the Moonlight Feels Right by Starbuck, for instance, when that came out, I'm not sure, 75, 76 or whatever. When that came out, or 77, it might have been even later. I love that whole album. And that was a really kind of sugary album. And I'd listen to it now, maybe one listen, but it wouldn't be in my top albums of the year from back then. Nelson, After the Rain from Marie Day. Rick May, let's see what you say, Rick. Bob Dylan, Highway 61 Revisited, good one. Pink Floyd, Wish You Were Here. There's a tribute album coming out on that one. Jeff Beck, Truth, Steely Dan, Asia, Warren Zevon, On the Wind. We've got an interview with Bill Schnee, who talks about working as an engineer with Steely Dan. Amazing stories, amazing stories. That's one of the green screen things I was going to go downstairs and intro and outro. And Bill just became a friend of mine on Facebook. He really enjoyed the interview we did. Oh, M. Moses, thank you. Top 5 rock for me is Rise and Fall of Ziggy. Yep. Appetite for Destruction. Yep. Guns N' Roses. Nevermind. Nirvana. Toys in the Attic. Of course, Aerosmith. And Deja Vu. CSNY. You got good taste, man. But everyone's right, right? Everyone's right. You like what you like. In high school, sometimes we'd bug people for liking, where I was saying that on the Bay City Rollers, Les McEwen Obituary. You get into high school and you go, oh, can you listen to the Bay City Rollers? I wasn't one of those because secretly I was a Bay City Rollers fan, but I'm sure I was one of those people that bugged people for what they liked, but you can't, you like it. It moves you. That's why you like it, right? Okay. Alice in Chains, Dirt, Marie Day. All of Steve Perry era journey, yes. Reuben Kincaid, hey Reuben, nice to have you back. Number 2, Bob Dylan, Infidels. April Wine, Nature of the Beast, DM, yes. Freaking love Nature of the Beast. And I was such a big April Wine fan leading up to Nature of the Beast. They could have released them unrolling toilet paper and I would have loved it. It's April Wine, unrolling toilet paper. Take 1. Tim P, Supertramp. What's COTC? I don't know. You can. Boston's First, yes. Oh, don't give me abbreviations. I'm terrible with abbreviations. Yes, Fragile. Yeah, that'd be up there for me. Asia, Crime of the Century, Steely Dan, Supertramp. Randy, thank you. DM. Don't give me abbreviations. I'm terrible with those. Cindy B, I'm sorry to hear that for you. Hear what? What? What did I say? I don't know what I did 5 minutes ago. Okay, no. Ben Siebert, hey Ben. Top 5 Montrose, Toto Tambu. I remember Toto Tambu got a mention. I remember in Billboard magazine because in the music room we'd always have Billboard and we'd read it. We'd all have a chance to tick off our little box and read Billboard. Incognito, 100 Degrees. Steely Dan. Asia, Stevie Wonder, Songs in the Key of Life. Yes. Deborah, 78. My top 5 albums are Pieces of 8 Sticks. Good for you. I love that album. Yeah. Rumors. I always go back and forth. What do you guys think of this? I always go back and forth from, because they're same era albums, from Fleetwood Mac Rumors to Hotel California by the Eagles, because I love them for different reasons, but Rumors seems to always edge out for me. I don't know. Okay, going back to this. Piece of 8 Rumors, Bad Company, Greatest Hits, Allied Forces, Triumph, yes. 90125, yes, great album, of course. Oh, the 78 is the year you got into Styx, my favorite band. Good. Thank you for sharing that. I appreciate that. Queensryche Empire from DM. Disintegration, The Cure, Depeche Mode, Black Celebration, Quincy Jones, The Dude. The Dude, remember when won all those Grammys? Laughing Stock, Talk Talk. They were a deep band, eh? Talk Talk, man. Pink Floyd, Pink Moon, Nick Drake. Sad story with Nick Drake that he, it's so weird that he's revered now, and back then, he never thought he was going anywhere with his. Joni Mitchell, Court and Spark. Reuben Kincaid. I was just editing another one I was going to do on the green screen. Is one of my pals wrote a book on Joni Mitchell. DM, all the best, McCartney. Alec Baliki. Hey, Alec, nice to have you back. Top 5 rock and roll, Vanilla Fudge, Stooges, Debut, Desolation Boulevard, The Sweet. I'm starting to sound English. I say The Sweet. Aftermath, UK. Rolling Stones, The Lamb Lies Down on Broadway. One of mine, too. Yeah. Stephen Amore from Rock and Metal, Black Sabbath, Sabbath Bloody Sabbath will be one of them, yeah. Paradise Theater, that's of course Styx from DM. Timothy Wills, doing a ranking by years would be great and fun. Yeah, we could do that. Next time I'll come. I just did this spontaneously really, really fast because I saw that Rick Beato did a few of these, and I watched them and I'm going, wow, this is a great idea. We can do that with our audience of asking you a specific, I think Rick did the, best rock singers, and I really enjoyed that. Rick's he's the best. There's a reason why he has so many subscribers. He knows his stuff. So I always give credit. Bob Seger live. Friends. I think I only heard that a few times. I love Harry Chapin albums. Yeah, Alan, I do too. I had a radio friend in high school. I'll get to the comments coming up. Who was? He says, "You ever hear of 100,000 pounds of bananas?" And he played me the Harry Chapin live album. UFO Stranger in the Night. Right on. That's a big album. Reuben Kincaid, Sabbath Sabotage. That's the first one, and it wasn't even new. I got from my friend, I can't even remember his name. Kendall Howard. Yeah, he sold that to me for $2. It was used. He wanted a new copy. Stephen Amore. All eras of Fleetwood Mac. Oh, cool. Are good. You're right about Peter Green. Also Bob Welsh. Bob Weston era. Boris Batev. Tambu. Clutching at claws, heads, or tails, no signal. Jim Croce. What would... I'm spinning here, so I'm losing my signal. I wonder why I'm losing my signal. Put it a little closer, maybe. Love Rick Beato, yes. He deserves all the success he has. And I can't do what he does because I'm not the musical mind that he is. And he's had some success there in music. I sounded Canadian here. He had some success there, eh? Like, that's great. I can do that because I'm Canadian. Pearl Jam, Versus, yeah. Passion, Peter Gabriel. Yeah, that soundtrack was, man, that was heavy. Love Mifro. I love this channel. Thank you. I appreciate that. Chris Snodgrass. He's the man, Chris. Seals and Croft's greatest hits. I think you meant Crofts. America's greatest hits, history. Isn't it neat the way all their America album titles were H. And then when they released their first full album without Dan Peek, because he had left the band, it was called Silent Letter, which of course, H is the silent letter. There's a song called 1960 on Silent Letter, and I had a chance to talk to Jerry Beckley and tell him how important that song was, because it's a transitional song. It's a song about generations and his brother and his family and the challenges that he's had in his life. And I was graduating in '79. I was able to tell him when that came out, it meant a lot to me. And we had a great interview. Beethoven's Seventh. There you go. I'm screen shooting slot of good music. I've got Carl Palmer coming up. We haven't confirmed the date yet, but it's to promote the new Emerson, Lake and Palmer book, which was done with the estates of the deceased members, of course, Keith Emerson and Greg Lake. Where was I? Marillion. Childhood's End. Clutching at Straws. That's DM, Stephen Amaro, Frank Zappa. I'm surprised. This gives me a really good. It also lets me, rest in peace, John Wetton. It also gives me a good feel of what the folks who usually watch our channel are kind of into, and it's information that we need as far as what we want to cover. Now, we don't do the documentary style stuff on this channel. We do it on our other channel, Rock History Book. This is Rock History Music. It's an interview channel. So with so many interviews we give, we ask a lot of you, the audience, because we have an interview every single day. And if not every single day, I'll come on and do a live feed. But pretty much the last few months, it's been an interview every single day, at least one. So we ask a lot of you, and that's why we decided to have another channel to sort of go for the people who like the documentary style stuff that we do, to go on our Rock History Book. It's in the link of well, not in this one. Look, I'm freezing up. Freaking up. What is wrong with my feed? Why am I having such a bad feed? Chase, can you come down here for a second and unhook my NAS over here? And thanks for the super chat, people who have super chatted us. I appreciate that. We use all the money we get on super chats. Can you just unhook it there? In case it's eating our internet. Say hi just for a second. He's the editor. He edits all our videos. It's Chase. Say hi. Hello. He's the man. Great drummer. Okay. Copperhead Road. Cape Rayer 23. That's kind of when I jumped off the Steve Earle bandwagon, because that was a breakthrough album, right? What is it? Exit O. What was the other one called before that? One of them had I Ain't Never Satisfied on it. That was a great song. Aerosmith rocks. Ruben, I was just listening to that album in the car. I went to Starbucks for the drive-thru to get a nitro cold brew and an extra shot of espresso, and I'm ready for it. I said, I just so need that. I'm falling asleep. And then there was a long line, and I went, well, at least I'm listening to Aerosmith Rocks with the 5 on the cover, right? Okay, where was I? Tusk is Fleetwood Mac's White Album. It is, yeah. Kevin Lewis. Thank you, Kevin. Are you the Kevin Lewis I'm friends with on Facebook? I don't know. DM, The Monkees, I'm Serious. Studio 1953, Highway 61. Yep. Dylan, R.I.P. John Wetton. That's from DM. Stephen Amaro, Captain Beefheart, Bat Chain Puller. Yeah, that was a weird album cover. Shadow Man. Oh, that's so cool. I met Carl Palmer a few times. He's such a nice guy. I've never interviewed anyone from Emerson, Lake and Palmer, and of course, Carl's the last guy standing. So I'm looking forward to that. The publicist says, no problem, John, I can set you up. It happened to be a publicist that I've worked with before. So he's going to... we were trying for Olivia Newton-John, but it turns out they're doing a big anniversary edition of Grease in the latter part of the year. So her publicist told me that, he says, can you hold on just for a few more months till near the end of the year, maybe in the fall, and we'll set up. We're going after Kenny Loggins right now. Mark Farner's coming up. We've got a date for that. Felix Cavalieri of the Rascals is coming up. We've got quite a few stuff. My English there, it's pretty good. My French comes out sometimes. On the Canadian channel, just so that we'll get back to the top albums, we've got Andy Curran of Coney Hatch coming up, Bill Schnee for this channel, who is one of the greatest engineers of all time. Boston Gymnastia, Christopher Ward on the Canadian channel. He was a Much Music VJ. Kylie Fox on the Canadian channel. She won New Brunswick Breakthrough Artist. Richie Fiore, we've already done that one. That's coming up. Stan Peters, we've got stuff for, remember Sweet City Woman for our American friends? Steve Lukather, we just did that one. We can't release that till next month. Valerie Sherman, who was Buzz Sherman's widow. She talks about losing Buzz. Moxie was the band. Our friends in Texas will know Moxie really well. So that's some of the things coming up on our channel. Let's go back to your chats. Let's go back to what you said. Aerosmith rocks, yeah. Stefan Peterson, Made in Japan, Deep Purple, yeah. Machine Head, that was my top for Deep Purple. I'm in with the big crowd because everyone, Fleetwood Mac, it's always Rumors. Machine Head, it's always Deep Purple's biggest one. Usually on the Evelyn Everyone and Joe Lunchbucket music fans. DM, Gordon Lightfoot, The Guess Who, The Hollies, BTO. You got it. Cape Rayer 23, Steve Earle, Copperhead Road. Yeah, we talked about that. Led Zepp. I have Danny Salisco, who's a concert promoter who just released a book. He gave me the best quote I've ever heard for Zeppelin 4 because it's turning 50 this year. And he just gave me, he just out of the top of his head, he just came up with this beautiful quote. And Steve Lukather gave me a great quote, what was it? The day before yesterday on Thursday. Toy Matinee. Yeah, Tim Pierce. Well, I'm trying to get, by the way, the new members of Toto. I hope that's of interest to you. I'm trying to get David Paich right now. He doesn't do a lot of interviews, but I know who he is. He knows who I am, so maybe that helps. Hit that thumbs up icon to the left to boost the algorithm of the show. I never ask anyone. Ever notice that? I never ask anyone to give me a thumbs up. Please give me a thumbs up on this video. We would appreciate it. My son does a good impersonation of people who do YouTube videos. Of, hey guys, what's going on? Everyone does the same thing in the beginning of their videos. I'll never do that. Hey guys, what's going on? Let's ask a screen a question. And they're not doing a live feed. They're just doing a regular video. At least here you can say, I'm doing fine, John. And you? Steve Howe, Steve Hackett, right on. Top 5. So I was in the beginning of the show, and on the screen, I just came up with a few that would be in my top 10. This would be in my top 10. Oh, there it is. Might have heard of that Rumors album. Zeppelin 4, but I'm also a big Physical Graffiti fan. And I can never decide between Physical Graffiti. It's a mood thing. Sometimes I'll pick Zepp 4. Sometimes it'll be Physical Graffiti. Nothing comes close to those two. I thought, for instance, Presence was a engineering-wise, as far as sound, was very different. Madman Across the Water, first album I ever bought. Not this one, of course. I still have the first album I ever bought downstairs. Goodbye Yellow Brick Road, as well as Captain Fantastic, Rock of the Westies, Blue Moves. They're all sort of my tops. The heavy metal movie soundtrack. Yeah, heavy metal. You don't want to hear me sing. Okay. Guitar Town. Oh, thank you, Marie Day. Thank you. You're very sweet. The Allman Brothers Band live at Fillmore. I was just talking about that album with someone the other day. David Bowie, Hunky Dory. Lukather's Candyman. Thank you. I'll start saying your names. Boris Batev. UEVTV. Weather Report, 8:30. Gentle Giant, Playing the Fool. I interviewed Derek Shulman of Gentle Giant. I actually interviewed him in his doctor's office. I think he was just doing a checkup or talking about something. And then he said, let's do this again. I think it was the same day. And just don't use the other stuff. And I went, well, that's, of course. And it was nice that the first one was just preliminary, getting to know each other a little bit. What a singer he was, eh? Derek Shulman. He introduced the world to Bon Jovi as a record executive. How about the best LP that no one bought? Okay, what was that? I'd say in North America, the best LP that no one bought would have been, maybe not Phantom of the Night, but Royal Bed Bouncer by Kayak. The first Zelig Bolmundo by John Cody, a Canadian artist. Just a classic album, just beautiful. Anyway, Marie Day, thank you for your super chat. Appreciate that. You're very sweet. How about the best? Yeah, okay, we did that. The Magic of Juju, Archie Shep. If you like jazz. Heart Bad Animals. Oh, that DM, thank you. Steve. Fave LP is Painted from Memory, Bacharach, and Costello. Cool. Scarlett O'Hara. Late for the Sky, Jackson Browne. Oh, cool. DM, Heart Little Queen. I remember the day I bought Heart Little Queen. We were in Moncton. Me and my radio friend, Jim Matheson. I don't know where he ever went. I can't track him down. I can't find him. He's from Nova Scotia. Port Hawkesbury, I think. We went to Moncton. I lived in northeast New Brunswick. We went to Moncton to see Seals and Crofts with Chilliwack opening up for them. And we went to, the first time I ever went to Sam the Record Man. I was 17. Never been because I lived in a small town. And I bought, a Tom Middleton album that was $1. I bought Heart Little Queen and a few other ones. Batags, Bachman, Turner Overdrive. Avalon Dreaming. Love all the Stevie and Christine songs on Tusk. Oh, cool. Danielle's CEO. Lamb Lies Down on Broadway is great, but I was listening to Selling England by the Pound, and that's absolutely a great album from start to finish. It is. I think it's their best album. And I know it's popular to say that, but it really is. That's why people say it. Marcus Westermark, Carl Palmer, Monster Drummer. He will be on this channel in about a month. Never talked to him, always wanted to. And there's that Emerson, Lake and Palmer book coming out later on in the year. I think in the fall. Marcus Westerman. Okay, you already said that. DM. Yes Union, Trevor Rabin, and Steve Howe. Candio by the Cars. That would have been Reuben Kincaid. That would have been, I'm not sure if I just recorded the debut album on cassette from my friend John Scott, or Candio might have been the actual first album that I actually paid for. Yeah. Reuben Kincaid, you're coming up with the good stuff here. Supertramp, Breakfast in America. Jay Spencer, FM Black Noise, Phasers on Stun. Oh, someone super chat us. Fernando Riley, thank you. No One Bought Boston Third Stage, excellent album. Well, a lot of people bought. It was a hit. The album was a. Not that I want to argue with the guy who just donated $10 to our cause. Thank you very much. Eyes Off Freezing Frozen Meat. What? Def Leppard. Reuben Kincaid. Oh yeah, Billy Squire, Edmonton. Emotions in Motions. See, that was a Freudian slip because I lived in Edmonton when Billy Squire came out. Reggie Sylvester, Alan Holdsworth. You in Living Color Vivid. Oh, Living Color. I just saw them on, I think it was Howard Stern. Was it Howard Stern they were just on? Reggie Sylvester, I read that already. Marie Day, any chance of getting Richard Marx on the show? I've tried a few times. I know enough people who know him, so I should try harder. The thing about 80s artists are not always in our lane as far as the classic rock thing, but we just did Level 42, and Dire Straits were more of an 80s band as they were a 70s, even though they came in in the late 70s, and they did really well too. So we'll do more of that. Thanks for the reminder, by the way, Maria. I have a friend who, her name is Marie, but she spells it Maria. It was always confusing to all of us. That's why I'm getting your name mixed up. Sorry. Carlos Santana. Love Carlos. Tammy Ope. I don't know. First Hendrix album. Ruben Kincaid. Me Too. Candio was my first 8-track. And the title song to Candio is so good, eh? Candio. Bam, bam. And it ends cold. And it goes. Boom. I used to have a cassette tape where I had that, and as soon as that ended, I synced it to have It's a Curious Feeling by Tony Banks right after that. So whenever I make a tape with Candio on it, I have It's a Curious Feeling coming in right the second that ends. If you ever tried it, it sounds good. Those two songs will work really well together. Dan Reed Network from Kaj Leonardson, DM. Please get Richard Marx. Okay, and you know Richard's really funny. He's also very political, I know. Incredibly political. I try to stay away from politics. When I talk to Richie Furay, I almost ask him, okay, you and Neil Young are in different sides of the political field. And I don't pick sides when I talk to these guys. I wanted to ask him, well, like, how do you get along with him? How do you even talk to him? But a lot of these guys just agree to disagree. Walk On, Boston, for albums no one bought. Oh, yeah. I bought Third Stage, Tim P. Tammy, I don't know how to say your name, I'm sorry. Fresh Cream. You know who mentioned Fresh Cream? Mark Farner, when I interviewed him the first time. Mark's coming on. I think I'm interviewing Mark, not next week, the week after. Again, Mark said, oh, that Fresh Cream, man. I remember the way he said it. And he always he calls everyone that is interviewing him, brother. If your name's Bob, you're brother Bob. He calls me brother John. And it feels nice. Eddie Money, No Control. No Control. Nightfly Fagan. I wonder who you like. Foghat, Fool for the City. There was I got to tell you a Foghat story. So I'm, like I said, I grew up in Northeast New Brunswick. And there's a guy, I forget his name. He was a friend of mine for a little while because I was a friend with that guy from the local radio station. Oh, I forget. Something Dennis. Mark Dennis? Mike Dennis. Really, really just salt of the earth. Nice human being. I heard Mike one day get on the radio and say, they were playing Slow Ride, the song their hit. And he goes, here's Fugget in Slow Ride. He had that kind of delivery as a radio guy. And he had that kind of voice. He naturally sounded like that, but he was affected when he talked. And I remember saying, who's Fugget? I hope YouTube doesn't think I'm swearing there. Anyway, I'm sure he wasn't the first. And I've butchered names, of course, myself. You should interview Robert Fripp. I don't know if Robert Fripp's even doing interviews because he's doing all those videos with his wife. She's funny, man. His wife's in great shape for her age. She's kept herself in good shape. And I say that because I find it very hard to stay in shape in my age. I'm 61 and I'm going, it was a little cloudy here. And I'm going, I don't feel like walking. I don't want to walk. You can't make me walk. Oh, never mind. Sorry. Rick Wakeman, Journey to the Center of the Earth. I got to that one quite late in my life, not when it was released. Jay Spencer. Elizabeth Aquilon. Love that album. DM. Heart Should Be Very Accessible. I reached out to Ann Wilson before I interviewed the Fisher brothers. And, I don't pick sides. I mean, Ann Wilson would be great to get. If anybody knows her. That John Bowden guy. He's a good guy. Nancy's promoting some stuff right now, too. Mike Oldfield. Yep. Oh, Queen Bodisa Radiant. How are you? Nice to have you back. Literally, have never heard of Kayak. Just watched Ruthless Queen. I really like it. Yeah, Ruthless Queen was from Phantom of the Night or Phantom of the Night. Yeah. And That was the album after that. I don't know if it was directly after that. But Royal Bed Bouncer by Kayak. Look up Kayak, Royal Bed Bouncer, and Phantom of the Night. I think it was Phantom of the Night. All the stuff on Royal Bed Bouncer, it's just floored me, just moved me. And the reason I bought the album at a used record store was because I thought the album was cool. Okay. Thank you for listening to that. Max Werner was their lead singer before that. On Ruthless Queen, he was just their drummer. He played on No Man's Land, one song on Phantom of the Night. I think he was having substance problems, because here's the lead singer of a band. Get this. Lead singer of a band from Holland, a big band from Holland, sings every song on the album. Then all of a sudden on the next album, it wasn't their first or second, he's just the drummer. I don't mean just the drummer, but it sounds just a drummer because he was the lead singer and he sings one song. So when I talked to Ton Scherpenzeel, I don't know how to say his name. Ton Scherpenzeel, that's his name, the leader of the band. I said, well, what doesn't make any sense? He's, oh, he didn't want to be the lead man anymore. I'm going, okay, come on. He had some problems. And on the album cover, the back of the album cover, he looks like he's just strung out. So, and he had some solo hits after that too. That's one of my hidden bands, Kayak, bar none. They're still around. But they've changed members, so Ton is the only person who's still with them. I'm waving my hands a lot. I just noticed that. Oh, thank you. No, you're Maria, so it's okay. I'm sorry about that. Ancient Greek Music, Volume 1, Spirit of Aristotle. Wow. Member of the Cranberries, we need to talk about Dolores. Yeah, that was Snowman. Pink Floyd, Dark Side. Yeah. Daniel CEO, Little Games by the Yardbirds. As I mentioned, we've got, if you love the Rascals, Felix Cavalieri will be, his publicist, who also handles Mark Farner, said I've asked before, but then I kind of let it go. And you and DM. Jim Pederick, yeah. Thank you for your super chat. Appreciate that. Okay, Bush, Hounds of Love. I like her first 3 albums, and after that, I still liked her, but I didn't love her as much. Santana's first album, a lot of people would agree with you. Reuben Kincaid, 70 is the new 69. Saga in Transit, from Eyes Off Frozen Meat. That is one heck of a username. William Langan, Phil Keggy. Who was I talking to the other day who's worked with Phil Keggy? Who was it that I talked to the other day? Oh, Serge Tagny-Radno, the guy from Enid and Friends. Yeah, he's worked. The guitarist who co-wrote a lot of the songs on his new album worked with Phil Keggy. I used to play a few Phil Keggy instrumental songs on a show I did called Nightlight. Teresa Broomfield, Marillion, Misplaced Childhood, Mountain, Nantucket Sleigh Ride, Eyes Off Road, Sant Vitus, I don't know who that is. Rowdy Jam Cave, LOL, Reuben Kincaid, yeah, Partridge Family. Blind Melon Soup, Reuben Kincaid. LTW, okay, one of mine is Discovery by ELO, great album. Yeah, nice choice. Tim P., the Edgar Winter Group, they only come out at night. Dun, 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 dun. John Cafferty, no one interviews him. Yeah, I haven't thought of John Cafferty in a long time. And Springsteen hasn't. Remember, everyone said, hey, he's trying to sound like Springsteen. Kiss Alive, Anthony Sondheim. There's a lot of people talk about Kiss Alive, the fact that it really wasn't live, right? With that album, I almost don't care. Like, that's one of my favorite live albums. And I'm not a big Kiss fan anymore at all. But that album really hit me. Scorpions, Love Drive. Remember that? Eyes Off Frozen Meat. Steve Amore, you retracted your thing. Queen Bodisha Radiant. I adore everything from Kate Bush. She is a goddess. Indeed, she is. DM Greg Kinn would be great to have. Let's continue that. No, that's too easy. Any Scorpions? Not for me. I'm not a big metal guy. Never was. But again, you either like metal or you don't, right? Deborah78, thank you for not going political on your videos. Much appreciated. An album that not many people bought. Anything from James Young, one of Styx guitarists. Yep. What's the name of that? It was a Snowblind by James Young off that Styx album where everyone said if you play it backwards. It was, yeah. Was it called Snowblind? I remember back then they were going all about the backwards masking. You know, there's still time to change the road you're on Stairway to Heaven. If you play it backwards, it says, here's to my sweet Satan. Kooky stuff like that. What's the other one? There was a few of them. Makeup. Scorpions are not heavy metal. Well, to some people they are. They're heavy rock. How about Chris Isaak? Never been a big Chris Isaak fan. Wings, that a lot of the big heavy metal, heavy rock, I'll say that then, bands of the 80s I didn't like. I wasn't a big Def Leppard fan. I got it. With Def Leppard, I understood, but I never bought an album because it just that wasn't my lane. Dan M, Boston's debut. You're the man, Dan M. How about Chris Isaak? We went there. Brent M. Fisher, Earth by Jefferson Starship. I like Red Octopus. That's probably my favorite. And what was the one with Freedom at Point Zero? That's the one with Jane on it? I really love that album. Level 42, World Machine, Adrian Robertson. Yes. Well, of course, we just interviewed their drummer on that album. Ronnie Parker, Ace Frehley, 78 debut. And his did better than anybody else's. You know, he outsold the other guys with that. That was the biggest solo of the four in that package. Alan Bearsness, BTO Band, Eagles, The Boss. By the time the Springsteen, 5 LP, whatever it was, live album, I never bought that. At that time I was starting to get away from live albums. Foreigner 4, good choice. Uriah Heep, Look at Yourself. Ruben Kincaid, Love Drive. Stephen Amore, Peter Tosh. I Lost on Jeopardy. Yep, DM. Shannon still sings that as a joke. Ruben Kincaid, Nirvana, In Utero. That's another thing. I was never a grunge fan. Never really I was talking to Andy Curran the other day of who was working on Anthem Records, and he was in Coney Hatch. I was talking to him, and I loved his grunge. He released some grunge stuff, and I'm going, yeah, it's kind of cool stuff. But he sent me some of his music. And we're gonna have a video with Andy Curran talking about the fact and how weird it is that Neil Peart's death didn't come out. And he told me the amount of people who knew that he was sick and how it never got out. That's going to be a good clip. I just did that one yesterday. Chase just cut it up. I love Van Halen. Yes. I like my favorite Van Halen albums would be, of course, 1984, the first, and OU 812. That would have been the second one, right, with Sammy Hagar. Neil Young Harvest. Stephen, good choice. No, you're right. They're a rock band. But I put all those big hair bands in that kind of category. Yes, close to the edge. Yes, and you corrected yourself there, I see. Oh, Uwe. Am I saying your name right? I think that's how you say it, because I had a friend who had the same name, and we said Uwe. Top 5 albums: Donald Fagen, Night Fly, Rutherford, Small Creeps Day. Yeah, Mike Rutherford. Toy Matinee, Third Matinee. I love Third Matinee with Kevin Gilbert. Toy Matinee and Third Matinee. Yeah. Thud. I got that out. I know a lot of Kevin Gilbert stuff. You guys know Kevin Gilbert? Real musical genius. Died accidental asphyxiation. Was the guy who helped. Are you strong enough to be my man? What's her name again? What's her name? Give me her name. Tuesday Night Music Club. Her name is. I've never been a big fan of hers. Anyway, Kevin Gilbert helped her with that album, and she kind of like never gave them enough credit for that. Oh God, I got a mental blank. It happens on live TV sometimes. Sheryl Crow. Has anybody said Sheryl Crow yet? Oh God, I'm so behind in the comments. Okay. The Cult, Sonic Temple, 8, Hard Day's Night from Daniel. Rush, All the World's a Stage. I was just talking about that album yesterday with Andy Curran, how much I love that live album. Really Mysterious, that's a good username. Frampton Comes Alive, Hotel California, Permanent Waves, Grand Illusion, Styx, Rush, Permanent Waves, Wish You Were Here from Pink Floyd. Stephen Amore acted with the Foreigner singer's wife in a movie called Are You Ready for Love? Oh, really? Cool. Chicken to Jail, Boss Gag, Silk Degrees. Great choice. Blonde on Blonde, but you can name more than 5 if you want. It's just a title of a video. You know, it's all cool. It's all good. Is Loverboy a Canadian group? DM? Yes, they are. They're very Canadian. We've got an interview with Mike Renowski is his real name, coming up on the Canadian channel in the next few days. Oh, I should have written that down. Steve Perry, yes, I love Steve Perry. I like his newer voice, kind of like when Elton John's voice got a little lower, a lot lower actually. I still liked it. Yes, Loverboy's Canadian, Ruben Kincaid. Joe Satriani from, I don't know how to say that. William Langan, yes. Oh, they're all saying Chicago 7. Another album I was just listening to. I never got into Budgie. Yeah, I never got into that band. Firebrand vocals. Tesla. DMs. Canada has something in the water. There's some great bands that came out of Canada, that's for sure. I say Canada like an American, and I'm Canadian. And sometimes when I say I'm Canadian, they'll go, "What? John Bone's Canadian?" Always have been. Born in Montreal. Frampton Comes Alive. I think I've already done that. Sheryl Crow. Yes, you're answering my questions. Yes, Sheryl Crow. I don't know why I just don't like Sheryl Crow. It's not only because of the Kevin Gilbert bad press stuff. And someone once told me she made fun of the way he died. I'm not sure if that's true. Someone told me. And they used to date. They used to be together. So I don't know. Let me see. Where am I? Harder, Faster, April Wine. Yeah, baby. Michael McDonald. +1, Boogington, Thunderwood. Oh, yeah. Ladies and gentlemen, Boogington, Thunderwood. +1 from ABBA. I had all the ABBA albums until the 80s. When they got into the 80s, I didn't like their music at all. Super Trooper, Voulez-Vous. It was a Voulez-Vous? I'm not, yeah. I don't know why. I just didn't like them anymore. Sammy Hagar or Gary Sharon? Oh God, Sammy Hagar. But I didn't dislike Gary Sharon stuff on, what was it called? Van Halen 3. I didn't dislike it. Okay, Mike P. I know it's very hard. Yeah, isn't it? Kate Bush, Hounds of Love, Dire Straits, Brothers in Arms. Good one. That hasn't come up yet, I don't think. And if someone's mentioned it, sorry. Simple Minds, Once Upon a Time, U2, Joshua Tree, classic album from U2. I'm not a U2 fan at all. I like Joshua Tree. Eurythmics, Revenge, Paul Kelcher, Murder Ballads, Nick Cave, Steve Amore, Close Call between Cult, Electric and Sonic Temple albums. Ruben Kincaid Hagar. Yeah, I agree. I like Sammy Hagar a lot. What's the name of the first song, that really fast one? Mine All Mine or whatever from the OU812? When it comes in, dun, 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 oh, when I heard that, I'm going, oh my God, I love this song. Pat Metheny, still live talking. Marcus Westermark, great choice. I was just talking yesterday to Nando Loria on Facebook, private messaged him, and he's not on that album, but he became the background singer and extra guitarist for the Pat Metheny band and knew Lyle Mays, of course, really well. And I asked him if his album's coming out, excuse me, and he says his dad's been ill, so his album's far from being over. Point of View, I think, is the one that I really like. I haven't listened to it. Well, no, I have listened to it, but it's not called Point of View anymore. If you look for Nando Loria, who's a Brazilian singer-songwriter, there's a combination of his first two albums, and it's called something else. Journey Departure, Anthony, good choice. William Langan, you guys are mentioning a lot of albums I either love or need to check out. Hey, see, well, there you go. That was the best comment all day. And I'm like that too. Sometimes I'm one of those guys that if someone puts out a video, even the yacht rock stuff, and I'm not a big yacht rock fan per se, especially the stuff that didn't become a big hit, but it was big in the LA sound, you know, you used to call it California music or LA music. And I click on any video where I don't recognize the artist, or I'm going, oh, there's one that got away. I should know who that is. Especially in my business, I have to know, right? So I got to grab a water, guys. So just hang in there because my throat's really, it's getting harder to get up. Can you imagine? Can you imagine someone joining our chat right now and going, that's nice, there's no one there. There's no one there. Who's manning the ship at this rock history music thing? Product endorsement notice. We have these because sometimes it's easier just go to, oh, someone said Zenyatta Mondatta. Great album. Excuse me. I talk through my lower register a lot when I do live feeds. And I don't usually talk that way, I don't think. The Outfield, Deep Play, Richard Francis, You're the Man. The Tube's first album. But see, back then, they were punkish, kind of outrageous, and I didn't like the Tubes back then. I liked them when they got polished by a David Foster. And some people go, that's sacrilegious. Inside Outside was it called, or Outside Inside, and the Completion Backwards Principle. I saw them in concert with Peter Gabriel and David Bowie. They were great. And they did that thing where they come out and they're all dressed in corporate suits, and then they rip their suits off, you know. Oh yeah, Peter Hamill of Van de Graaff Generator. Where are we? Joni Mitchell. Kevin Kearns wrote a great book, Track by Track, with Joni Mitchell, and I'm just doing the intro for it. He wrote an Elton John book and a 10cc book as well. Peter Kearns, not Kevin Kearns. I have a friend that's also named that. That's why. The Tube's first album. Oh, Barry Bowen, another vote for Spirits Haven't Flown with Saturday Night Fever. Very close second. There's a Facebook friend of mine, John. He has a Bee Gees cover band, and he sang "Spirits Having Flown" the other day. It's not a well-known song unless you're a Bee Gees fan or unless you're a real music fan of that ilk, because Tragedy was on that album. "Spirits Haven't Flown" was the name of the album. When that came out, I listened to the title song and I'm going, there's no way this is going to be a hit. They need this to be a hit to get away from that disco stuff. That's not necessarily bad because it's, you know, it's a double-sided sword in some ways for them. But Spirits Having Flown by the Bee Gees is one of the most beautiful songs I've ever heard in my life. And I really wish they went with Tragedy, and I understand that because that was the formula. But that would have helped the band, I think. Anyway, water. Dry mouth. Oh, Tone Seeker, Led Zeppelin, Physical Graffiti. You're the Man. Love that album so much. Eyes of frozen meat. That's such a funny username. You've got some good stuff. Lister Cult, Fire of Unknown Origin, DM. That settles it. Richard Marx is a must. Please, John. It would be great if someone knows him because it's hard to get a hold of Richard Marx. I think the guys that represent Kenny Loggins might represent him. I'm trying to think. And we're this close to getting Kenny Loggins. Just close. Mikey P. I'm also from the UK and England and also live in the country of Kent, not far from where Kate Bush grew up, and met her a couple of times, but more so her dad, Robert. Oh, that's really cool. Thank you for sharing that. UFO Strangers in the Night has come up a few times in Resto. Ruben Kincaid, The Doors, LA Woman. That title song always, the way it just comes in. Right, well, I'm talking Riders in the Storm, sorry. Same album. Black Sabbath from Anthony. Camel. We used to play Camel on our New Age show. Ralph Thompson. Toto 14 is up there. I agree. Toto 14 was a great album. I did a whole thing on it. It was one of the first big videos I ever did. It took me a month to do it. It took me a freaking month to do that video. And now I would be able to do that in a few hours. Yeah. Aerosmith, Toys in the Attic, then Rocks. Rocks is my favorite. But yeah, good choices. Starry Bear. Oh, Ruben, you had Spirits Haven't Flown on 8-track. Cool. Oh, Steven, is that right? That song was played. I should look it up. It wasn't a hit here. TNT. I'm thinking you're talking AC/DC. Ask Steve Lukather what if his favorite albums. Steve gave me on Thursday. I interviewed Steve again. I think the 4th time. And he gave me a great quote for Zeppelin 4 because it's turning 50 this year, right? If anyone ever wants to be on one of our album features, if you want to talk about any album that turned 50 this year, if you'd like to, email me at there's an about thing on top on the far right-hand side for this channel. My email address is there. It's just johnbowden@icloud.com. Just email me and say, I'll use my phone. And what you have to do is just go like Zeppelin 4, for instance. You could look away from the camera or into the camera. I don't ever look right into the camera. And tell me your story for Zeppelin 4. It could be like, man, I was 14 years old, and you don't have to say your name because I'll put that underneath. It's the old thing, it's documentary style. And I would like more of you to come on our videos and talk about something. So I think I'll make an announcement of it next time. You can do it now. And it'd be like, hey man, I was 14 years old when Zeppelin 4 came out and, blah, 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 or I went to see them, or I got this funny story about Zeppelin, or I met Robert Plant once, or anything, and we'd put you on, and you'd be right beside Steve Lukather and a whole bunch of other, stars where you're talking about Zeppelin 4. So there. And there's, 2 Yes albums. There's a whole bunch of albums that turn 50 years old this year. So just text me first. But like I said, it's just a question of you look at the camera or look away from the camera and just say, man, I was 15 years old when that came out. I remember I saw Led Zeppelin when I was, my sister had the album and I remember listening to it and it's made me stop my tracks or whatever that is. Or talk about a specific song. And we'll put you in the video. We're not going to pay you, but these videos don't make a lot of money anyway. The ones with the specific albums, they don't. Even Zeppelin 4, my God, one of the greatest rock albums of all time. Tom Yankowski, Peter Gabriel, So, Genesis Duke. I agree with you. I love those 2 albums. Sticky Fingers, Stones. Zeppelin 4, Who's Next to Who? Exile on Main Street, Stones. Oh, you like Queen Innuendo, huh? There you go. This is from Lucha Libertaria. Billy Idol, Rebel Yell. You're an 80s lover. Cape Rayer 23. Richard Francis in capital letters. Bee Gees 81. Living Eyes. Departed from the Falsetto Sound. Yep. Reuben Kincaid, Peter Gabriel, Security. Great album. I lost my train of thought. It was there. It was gone. Maria Day. I know Richard is doing podcasts with his wife. Richard Marx. Yes, he is. His very famous wife. How about Asia? Oh, yeah. Chicken to Jail. Chicken to Jail. High Adventure, Kenny Loggins. We're trying to get Kenny on the channel. I hear him on the top of the list. Doesn't mean anything. And nothing against the publicist. But, you know, sometimes bigger people come and they'll steal our interviews. And technically, they should get the interview if they're looking for more of an audience, right? We have 80,000 subscribers, but we're not going to get all the interviews we want. Is Hunky Dory 50 years old? I didn't know that. Oh, Queen Bodisa Radiant, Lana Del Rey. I'm not a big fan of her stuff. Born to Die. Joseph Shemansky, Beatles, #1 band of all time. Yep. Led Zeppelin 2. Well, you know, I got my COVID shot at 11. It'd be easier if I say I got the Pfizer shot today, the first one. And my arm doesn't hurt yet. I got it, how many hours ago? 4.5 hours ago. Should my arm hurt by now if it's going to hurt? Maybe not, eh? But I'm mentioning it because I felt a little dizzy a while ago. A little kind of... Our daughter got the Pfizer shot and she had a seizure half an hour later, but she was overdue for a seizure. She has one about once a month. So, and she's perfectly fine. She's over there. Aquilon is 50 years old. You know what? Ian Anderson, I asked him, we talked about Aquilon because, you know, 50 years old and everything, and we've got a 4-part series just talking about that album. I asked Ian Anderson, what was it about 1971? I mean, there's great albums every year, but man, 71 was crazy. And he said there was a lot of competition back then. We knew that. We were, you know, it's almost like we were in an elevator. We all had to shine. We're all like stuck in this category, and it made us work harder. And I liked his answer. Serum Kalaja, Dire Straits Communique, great album. Eagles Hotel California, Peter Frampton Comes Alive, Pink Floyd, The Wall, Fleetwood Mac, Rumors. You name some big albums there. Mikey P, Stephen Amore, do you have Twitter? Tom Jankowski, Chicago at the Carnegie Hall, turns 50. Yeah. The live album, it was a big package, remember? It was off-white. It was, I don't know, what color would that be? It wasn't yellow. It was kind of gray yellow. I had it. I like Michelle Branch. I know a lot of people put her into that like kiddie, young girl, power pop, and she was, but I like the first 2 albums. Didn't she do a country thing with another singer? She did. Jay Giles Band, Freeze Frame. That was a big album. Reuben Kincaid. Eyes Off Frozen Meat, Pretenders' first album. Best concert I ever saw was Iggy Pop opening for the Pretenders. I like the Pretenders. I never bought an album. I bought their greatest hits. But Iggy Pop is the best performer I've ever seen live. He was just amazing. We were, I think, in the first or second row, and we went with Steve Burgess and I, who gave me all those interviews. I barely used any of them yet because I don't have time. But Steve Burgess said, hey, you want to go to like the concert with, I forget, Helen Metella. She used to write for, I think, the Edmonton Journal, and whoever the other girl was that wrote for The Sun. and they didn't have dates, and they brought us. So I'm frozen. I'm frozen with a really sad looking face on. Look at, oh, poor guy. Please help. Okay, I'm going to try this. Lamblido, I don't know, I can't say that. Selling England by the pound 73. I'm straight back to my childhood. Tone Seeker, Fillmore East, Allman Brothers Band. Came up a few times, turns 50. Came up a few times today. Don't trust a jab. I'm not a conspiracy theory person. My wife gets COVID, Shannon. It could easily kill her. She has an autoimmune disease. Anthony Sondheim's The Beatles, Abbey Road. I think that might be the first time Abbey Road's been mentioned today. Abbey Road. Pet Sounds hasn't been mentioned. Speaking of those big albums from those big bands, from the Beach Boys. Maria Day. My arm didn't hurt until the night of the day. Yeah, Maria, my wife Shannon's the same thing. She got the same shot, and it didn't hurt her. When I talked to Steve Lukather, he got his first shot. I think he got Pfizer. Yeah, he got his first shot. Ian Anderson got his first shot when I talked to him. Oh, the Clash London Calling, Ruben Kincaid. I think it's the first time it's been mentioned. I'm surprised because that's such a classic album. I don't know how to say it. Your username. Genesis, Lamb Lies Down on Broadway. Yes. Chicken to Jail. I love your usernames. Yeah, my arm hurt the next day. Thank you for that information. It's good to know. Because I felt she hit something when she went in there. Shannon felt that too. It doesn't hurt to the touch yet. So it's only been 4.5 hours. Eye in the Sky, Alan Parsons. Starry Bear, good one. Live and Dangerous. What was Aldwin Riddle? That was a good live album. DM, Colin Hay, Men at Work. I've got to get Colin Hay on this channel. He's a funny guy. He's a really funny guy. I saw the video of Stephen, of Ian Anderson, but a lot of times when I'm interviewing someone, I won't watch their alone video. I'll watch them being interviewed by someone else, usually a few hours before I do the interview. Perpendicular, Deep Purple, Lucha Libertaria, Alice Cooper. Thank you. Eyes Off Frozen. Beige. Yeah, it was you're talking about the Chicago album. Yeah, that'd be Beige. Yeah, that's right. Joan Armour Trading. Show some emotion. We used to play Joan Armour Trading at a New Age show I used to do in Edmonton, Alberta, Canada, called Nightlight. Genesis, The Lamb Lies Down on Broadway is coming up an awful lot. One of the most brought up albums so far. Ernesto, Ian Gillan Band, Child in Time. Marcus Westermark, yes, Fragile is turning 50. Indeed it is. I got some good quotes. From Steve Picaro. Who's the, I'm trying to think of the guy. It'll come to me later. It'll come to me later when I'm finished broadcasting. I'll go, what? It's 4 o'clock, good. I was going to say, I have to go make supper because Shannon's working till 5, but then I realized I made stew. You know when you make stew, you got food for 3 days. Shannon loves my stew. No, that's not code. It's not code. Then Lizzie's live album was awesome. I agree, Ruben. Mark Romero, UFO, Strangers in the Night. That has come up quite a few times. Stephen Amaro, Deep Purple, Burn album. I love that album too. Genesis Lies Down on Broadway. Michelle Branch was in the Wreckers. Yeah, that's right. I don't know who Jessica Harp is. I remember her. She was blonde. I remember her. Okay. Lamb Lies Down on Broadway, a very long double album. DM Lou Graham. I like his first 2 solo albums. Again, Lamb Lies Down on Broadway. Cars Candio again. Cars Candio as well. Everyone's talking about the Cars Candio. Candio. Oh, okay. Oh, we got $33.98 in donations today. Thank you. All that money goes to advertising this channel so we can get to 100,000 subscribers. We started advertising last week for the very first time ever. ever. We've gotten to 80,000 subscribers organically, the old-fashioned way, by just putting out content that we were hoping you would like. The Cars Candy is coming up like crazy. It's becoming the biggest album of all time on this. No, I'm just joking. Sergeant Pepper's, it's only come up 3 times so far. Hey, Cape Rayer 23, April Wine Stand Back. Wouldn't want to lose your love. I'm not going to sing because I can't. But Miles Goodman can sing. Man, they had like, what, 4 or 5 hits off that album? There was Ooh What a Night, Wouldn't Want to Lose Your Love. What are the hits that they have on Stand Back? I haven't listened to it in so long. I've got an autograph downstairs by Miles, Jerry, Jim, who died a few years ago, and God, my brain's not working today. Maybe it's the shot. Brian Greenway, he's the guy. Tesla has an album or two. Was never a Tesla fan. Oh, Marie, no, I didn't miss it. I got it in the beginning. Maybe I was babbling in a way that, but thank you very much. I appreciate that. You were one of the first people. John, why did you say UK in England? And then, oh, county. I got it wrong. Sometimes I will read like a newscaster. You ever see Anchorman? So if someone swears on here, Anchorman, when she puts up the gobbledygook stuff that he reads and it's complete profanity. Sometimes I will read like that, and I don't, because I'm a broadcaster, I'll do that. So yeah, I know it's not a country. My first in-laws from my first marriage, they were from Manchester, nice working town. And my mother-in-law used to call me a silly bugger. I said, I know what bugger means. Rush 2112, I think it's the first time it's been mentioned, Charlie. Wish You Were Here, Pink Floyd. You guys have good musical tastes. You know, and it's good to know what you like because it helps me direct this channel on where we're going to go. After Elton John, Genesis, Supertramp, Toto. Yes. April Wine for Canadian bands, Rush. Oh, there's just so many. Man, there's like, Fleetwood Mac I liked, off and on. When they got a little softer in the 80s, I remember I went to Fleetwood Mac because I liked some of the harder songs, even though it wasn't a hard album, Oft Rumors. You know, I Don't Want to Know, you know, that first song. I don't know if it was called that. Well, I've got it right here. Why don't I just look? How lazy could I be? Oh, yeah, I Don't Want to Know. Secondhand News, stuff like that I really liked off this album. Great album cover. Speaking of album covers, and when I saw that, I remember thinking, this is an important album. And then I realized I'd heard the title song because I got to the album probably a year after it was released, 2 years. Because when Elton John released, oh, thank you, DM. Thanks for the super chat. Appreciate it. What do we got here? What do we got? Chicago 17. See, Fraser J., I liked the album too, and I didn't change my mind, for instance, when the Doobie Brothers went into that different style with Michael McDonald. I didn't change my mind when Chicago went into a slightly different style. They were heading there anyway, even with Terry Kath and the band, with If You Leave Me Now and stuff like that from the 70s. They were heading in that direction anyway. And then they kind of lost their footing a little bit, and David Foster brought them back to that area. I talked to Bill Schnee, the engineer, about working with David Foster a little bit, and he gave me some great quotes. Look, I'm still stuck on that. Look, I'm stuck on Elton John. It's John Bowden within John Bowden. I don't know what that means. The band, the Big Pink. It's the first time it's been mentioned today. Eric Clapton. You know, the first Clapton album I bought was Slow Hand. And everyone said, and Derek and the Dominoes I had through a friend of mine, but it wasn't mine. I had it in my collection, but I didn't actually own it. I didn't buy it. Oh, Little Feat, yeah. Remember Little Feat? Ribbit, shut up. Ribbit, shut up. Shut up. Little Feat fans will know what that means. Oh, Rockarola, Judas Priest, Harry Nielsen, Schmilson, Bill Schnee gave me some great quotes about working with, speaking of that album, working with Richard Perry. And when he wrote his book, I think it's called Chairman of the Board. I'll know when I do the video series. I always make sure. When he wrote the book, he said he had to be realistic about Richard Perry. I talked to quite a few people through the years about how much of a stickler Richard Perry was as a producer, where he would have like rows of reel-to-reel tape, 3/4 inch tape, or whatever it was, just over the reel-to-reel, and he'd have 100, and he'd know what all of them are. David Henschel, who worked with Genesis for so many years, had said that he had a photographic memory, and he's not doing well now. He's got dementia of some type. So, but anyway, we've got some great quotes coming up. The Guess Who share the land, yeah. Richard Perry is a famous producer who worked with freaking everybody. And of course, the Ringo album, Carly Simon, You're So Vain. A lot of Carly Simon. Blind Faith, Faith, my French comes out sometimes. Who is Richard Marx? Really? You don't know Richard Marx? Okay, Queen, Bodisha, Radiant. We don't know who you are. It doesn't really matter, but you were a teen in one decade, so that I know. And I'm not being disrespectful, but Richard Marx was so big in the 80s. But then again, you know, I have Carl's brother, Pulsar Light says, Queen Bodisa Radio, Richard Marx is Karl Marx's brother. Oh, you have to ask, but it's 4, it's not 5, you have to wait. Oh, that was funny. Goat's Head Soup, first time it's been mentioned, fit to be tie-dyed. I got to show you guys something. Hold on a second. I hope I can find it. Let me see if I can. It might be on here. I don't know. It might not be. How do I find my pictures? Uh-oh. I don't know. Oh, here it is. Hold on. Hold on. All photos. I might be able to find it. Hold on. Where is it? Where is it? Where is it? Where is it? You know, the stuff that I take pictures of, I look back sometimes and I go, what am I doing? This is for, look at John Bowden's. This is for covers of, I might not have it here. Oh, it's too bad. I wanted to show you my wall from New Brunswick, but I don't have it. See, I do it again. Look. John Bowden green screen. So I can't find it. My wall in New Brunswick. Hold on. There's the Titanic. I don't know why I saved a picture of the Titanic on my phone. Probably good reasons, who knows? Oh, this is Shannon when she, about 2 years before she met me. That's my wife. But I didn't know her then. Pictures of Marilyn Monroe, because we're doing a thing on Marilyn Monroe on our sister channel. It's a beautiful picture of her. We're doing 5 blonde bombshells who died too young. Oh, I wish I had that picture. I wanted to show you. Excuse me. Anyway, I don't have it. I'm going to go back to YouTube. It's some of you have seen it, the picture of my wall when I was a teenager. I have logos of bands all over my wall. I just want to show you. I'm surprised I can't find it. YouTube. Back to YouTube. So we're going off topic. John Bowden, you're rambling. Elton John, Blue Moves. Tony Gaston, nice choice. It's one of my Desert Island albums. Mark 187. It's strange, you know. Ghost in the Machine by the Police is the only Police album I didn't really care for. But a lot of my friends love it. Center field, Cape Rare 23, John Fogerty. Oh, Queen, if you answered my question, I didn't get it. Stephen Amory, what's whose channel called? My wife? She doesn't have a channel. She's on this channel sometimes. She's going to be doing more stuff on the Nail Sheet channel, which is our channel for entertainment. She looks way better than me. And we're going to do a lot of 80s stuff on that channel. And that's kind of her. When I graduated in 79, she was 10. I didn't date her then. So she's almost 11 years younger than me. And she's going to be doing a lot more research for us, but on camera stuff as well. If it works out, I mean, I've got to get her there, right? She comes on camera with me many times because, it's my way of saying it's part of my life. Is other, Journey Infinity. Good. Toto 4. This is from Teddy Bates. Teddy, nice to have you back. Symphony X. I don't know what that is. Survivor of Vital Signs. Golden Earring. Muntan. White Lion. Mike Tramp. Oh, White Lions. Yeah, of course. Ruben Kincaid, The Waterboys. Never been a big Waterboys fan. Tony Gaston, Todd Rundgren, Something Anything. Great album, eh? Double album. Yeah. I always thought Todd Rundgren could be a guy who could have a lot of hits, but somehow he just wanted to follow his muse, whatever he had in his head. But if you had to sit down and really say, hey, you've got to have an album of big, big hits, and he's had that, but I listened to Nearly Human in the late 80s, and I remember going, this is one of the most perfect albums I've ever heard in my life. The Wand of the Nail. God, there's that famous Letterman performance that's online. Oh, Chicken to Jail, Al Stewart, You're the Cat. I got to put out those 2 interviews we've got with Al Stewart downstairs. No one can get Steve Perry. He is just out of the biz. Genesis, Wind and Wuthering, great album. Abbey Road, that's like about 5 times now, Abbey Road, so far today. Yeah, Rundgren's so talented, it's scary. All the production he's done through the years. Okay, William Sanders says, Peter Gabriel, Cars Candio, Queen Out of the Opera. Yes, going for the one, Zeppelin 4. Good choices. Tapestry turns 50, Tone Seeker. Yeah, Kansas Point of No Return, Leftover, both. In some ways, they were similar albums to me. Of course, one has a Carry On Wayward Son, the other one has Dust in the Wind, very different songs. Paul McCartney and Wings, Band on the Run. A lot of people say that's his best album, Tony Gaston. Where were we? Chicago 17. Chicago's coming up. That David Fosse year is coming up a little bit. Quiet Riot. We just did a thing on the Quiet Riot Boys on our sister channel. Ian Hunter, You're Never Alone, was a schizophrenic. Thanks, Joe. Amy Thompson, The Eagles. I gotta sit back. My back's killing me. Starting to hurt me, man. I'm 61 now. I'm not the man I used to be. Plastic Ono Band. There's a re-release of that. That's just come out. Robert Plant, Pictures at 11. I was a little. Why am I getting so much shade here? Let's do it. Oh, that's better. Good lighting beside the fireplace. Born to Run. Is that the first time it's come up today, guys? I just sold a deluxe package of Born to Run that a record rep gave me. I wasn't ever listening to it. I don't listen to a lot of old Springsteen anymore, as much as I liked Darkness on the Edge of Town and Born to Run. Born in the USA, I didn't like as much. It was, I just heard it so many times. Journey never toured Europe between 81 and 87. You heard Steve Perry, Marcus, thank you for that. I didn't know that. Amy Mann, that's the Till Tuesday girl, right? lady. CSNY. Deja vu. Big Boys Oz. Rod Stewart. Every picture tells a story. It took me a while. Maybe it's because my tastes were not developed enough. But when I remember first hearing that story, because he repeats it over and over and over again at the end. Every picture tells a story. Hold on. My face is way too big on screen. It's going to scare people. Chat publicly as rock history music. I never do because I'm like right here. So, I don't ever do that sort of thing. So thank you, everyone. I'm not quitting right now, but thanks everyone for I want to do more of these. When Rick Beato did that thing of Power Pop, where he said best rock vocalist, and I watched that, I'm going, what a great idea that is, right? I must be frozen because I haven't had a comment in a while, and there's 68 people on here. Oh, and then it rains and pours. It just goes nuts. Amy Thompson, you're only 5 years ahead of me. Queen, thank you. I look 10 years younger. Well, one thing that I don't understand, and I'm not going to say it bugs me a lot, but I don't understand when there's someone who leaves a comment on my videos. And don't get me wrong, I'm lucky. I don't get a lot of negative comments. It's actually rare on my channel. But someone will say, stop dyeing your hair. And I'm going, look at, I've got gray hair. I've got gray hair. I don't dye my hair. I used to dye this way too dark. And then Shannon says, don't dye your goatee anymore. I like the way it is. I'm going, okay, my wife likes it. That stuff burns my skin anyway. I don't have to do it. But when people say, hey man, why are you dyeing your hair? I don't dye my hair. My dad was 87 when he died. His hair was quite dark when he died. You see, he had some gray hair. But I'm lucky. I didn't do anything to deserve this. But I don't dye my hair. I don't care. If I did, I wouldn't care. I'd say I'm allowed to dye my hair. I'd be on here saying I'm allowed to dye my hair. But of all the comments that I get that are kind of like goofy, that's the comments. And I think it's because if I say I'm 61 and they go, well, how can you be 61 and not? Some people I don't have a lot. I have more on this side. And you ever notice that gray hair grows faster than the other hair? I just had to trim all this because a lot of it was gray hair this morning, but because I was doing these green screen videos I was going to do. Anyway, what makes a guy look older, grayer, or bald? I don't know. There was a guy who just got on here, a doctor talking about COVID. And he said, I've never done this maybe some of you guys might have seen it. He talks, a younger guy, he's younger than me, and he's completely bald. And he looks amazing. He's got a good looking noggin on him. So he's on there and he says, well, I don't want to do Twitter because Twitter's for young people. I'm going, you look kind of young. But it's just because, I can lower it this way. I'm going, my head's just, there you go. That's what I do with my live broadcast. Near the end, I get all crazy and I'm talking about, not that talking about that was crazy. It's not at all. It's just, it's an FYI thing. Don't you think it's kind of weird when people, of all things they're going to talk about? I've stopped doing this. What I used to do when someone would say something stupid, I would go into their video channel and say, like, most of them don't have a video channel. It's just a Google account, right? So you can comment on YouTube. And I go in, I'm going, who are these people? Like, what are you talking about? And if it's legitimate and if I deserve it, of course, I'll go, I did make a mistake there. Thanks, I'll change that or take that out or something. That hardly ever happens. Sting, bring on the night. Good. Amy, a Canadian band called, what? Nickel A? What? I don't understand. Are you talking about, is there a band called, look, I'm still, well, that's bad. I just saw myself showing my hair and it's not gray at all from the camera. Must be the wrong side. This one's, I got grays coming in. Shannon likes it. But, I'm frozen again. I don't understand that. Anyway, I gotta wrap up. I'm starting to ramble like a crazy bastard. And then, when I was 15 years old, like cut myself. No, no, I'm just. Anyway, I'm gonna wrap it up, guys, because I'm frozen here. Look at. Oh no, now it's all coming in. Let's see. Look at like crazy. Boing, 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 boing. I'm not a troll. Nickelback. Oh, I didn't think you were a troll. Yeah. See, I don't hate Nickelback, but I would never buy an album of theirs. But I don't hate them. What's that song, Photograph? I've always liked that song. Look at that. I can't do it or else I'll get demonetized. Mikey P, who are you talking to? I don't think you're talking to me. When will you be next into the UK? I've never been to the UK, so I don't think you're talking to me. I've never left the continent. It's pretty pathetic. I've not done a lot of traveling. Alchemy, Dire Straits. I talked to Bill Schnee about working with Dire Straits, well, most notably Mark Knopfler, on their last album, and it was not a love-hate. That interview's coming up right away. Excuse me, sorry. I think the shots knocked me out a little bit. I'm a little extra tired. And Mark was a stickler. You know, I know we talked to Pick Withers and David Knopfler in the last little while on this channel. And by the way, like my video, I know I don't say it enough. Like the video, please. If you like the video, then the algorithms will send our videos, not only this one, up on the charts. We're at 80,000 subscribers. I want to thank everyone for subscribing to our channel. It's kind of like when you're 25 years old, you never think about being 50. Most people who are 25 don't think about what it's going to be like being 50. They're living right at 25, or probably most notably like 19 years old. You don't think about being 50. When I started this YouTube channel, I never thought of reaching anything. I just said, well, I've got the time. Why don't I do a YouTube channel? I was going to get into TV. Then I realized I didn't want to be recognized in the produce section of my local grocery store. So I didn't get into TV, even though everyone was telling me, get into TV, man. You should get into TV. And I did once have a face for TV. Not so much anymore, but I once did. But I was a private guy and very shy. I didn't think I could cut TV. So when I did the YouTube channel, I thought, well, I'm going to do it. I'll just see if I have something to say. And being a real music historian, not officially, but having written and being the music guy at a lot of radio stations I was at, I started realizing, oh, I can do this. I got this. And I always did rock shows and American Kid Rock. When I first saw Kid Rock, I thought, this guy really needs to take a shower. But then I saw him on Austin City Limits or whatever. He had that big band. Wow, I thought he was so good. Would I want to spend time with Kid Rock? Abso-freaking-lutely not. I would never want to spend 2 minutes with the guy. But I had an appreciation for what he did. I remember going, he's great in concert. Donald DJ, Rocky Stream, American Kid Rock. What about Eddie Trunk? Steinman died. Yeah, we did a thing on Jim Steinman. Sometimes we have to do things on the fly where it was in a car. I think Shannon was getting her shot that day, or what? I don't know what she was doing. She was doing a medical thing. And I just got on, because I'm familiar with his stuff. That's what helps when you do this stuff. If you're familiar with the artist enough where you could just kind of wing it. And if you understand, and you're at an age where you understand death, and if it had enough death around you, where you have enough perspective, and all of you do, because you're all around my age, a lot of you, and some of you are a little younger, some of you are a little older, but you've lived enough life where you could sit down with someone and have a certain perspective about death where you can talk about it with both feet on the ground. The first counseling session I had when I was going through my divorce, my counselor asked me, Catholic social services. I wasn't even a practicing Catholic at the time, but it was free. He told me to stand up, and he shoved me. He said, stand up on one leg. And I was on one leg, and he shoved me, and I almost fell and broke my whatever. Then he said, put both feet on the ground, and he went to shove me, and he says, notice the difference. He says, right now, you're a guy on one leg. You're going through a divorce. So after a while, I just started realizing I could talk about death with both feet on the ground of going, I've lost enough people, you know, there's that thing you might have heard a radio announcer at your local radio station talk about themselves and what they did last weekend. And that's usually where a radio, because I've been in radio 38 years, that's usually where they lose it. You start going, oh, they think they can talk about themselves, but they're not comfortable enough in their own body. They don't know who they are yet. In radio, you can't go from A to Z and talk about everything. You've got to go like you've got to be F to S or something, and that's maybe your comfort zone of you can talk about that stuff in that field really well. Usually, radio announcers aren't comfortable talking about themselves unless they've been in the business for a long time. When we did the Eddie Van Halen thing, I mean, God, we got 200 subscribers when we talked about it. 200 subscribers while I was doing the Eddie Van Halen reaction to his death, right? And it's not a bragging thing. It's not at all. It's a question of like, if you're in a job for a long time, you're good at it. If one of you guys is a plumber or a teacher or whatever, you've been doing it for a long time. Not always, but chances are you're good at what you do because you're confident in what you do, right? So that's kind of a thing. Well, that was a rant. Like, really? That was not necessary. No, anyway. But that's where radio announcers lose it, really. They talk about, oh my God, my boyfriend and I were out there. You wouldn't. I heard a girl once talking about having too many dishes when she unpacked her here in Calgary. She had just moved, and she ended up having more dishes when she unpacked than she did when she packed. And I could tell she didn't know where she was going with the story, and she probably wasn't being honest, but she thought it would be an interesting thing, and she kind of got lost in it. And then she was backpedaling on air live, and then nervously laughing. And I'm going, oh my God, stop it. Go to commercial. Just, you lost that one. Just keep moving. But she kept talking and talking. I'm going, oh my God. That's where some announcers lose it. Now you're not even allowed to talk for a long time. So, Babe was a huge hit here. The Grand Illusion from Dave Holland. I love Babe. The way it starts, you know, the twinkle twinkle is great. Woke is killing music. Well, it in some cases it is, yeah. You know, Rick Roberts of the band Firefall told me something maybe 4 years ago when I interviewed him. He sang most of the hits, well, all the hits, except Cinderella, which was a minor hit, and the other guy sang that. He said, the advice I tell young writers is, don't put a ism from your year of writing that song in a song, because in 5 years, that ism will be not being used anymore, and it'll be uncool, right? I told that to Larry Burnett, who's the other guy who sang in Firefall, who had a lot of drug problems, but he's okay now. And I love Larry. He didn't have the hits, but I love Larry just as much. I think Firefall is a terribly underrated band. And I told him what Rick said, and he said, oh God, I so agree with that. He says, those isms of the time, something that people are saying now, that might not sound good. The woke community, sometimes there are things that are applicable to the time, right? But some of it is offensive. You know, when you're talking about the race thing, some of it can be very offensive. But in anything, right? It's hard though when it's something that you really like and you're going, oh, come on, you're doing the old, oh, come on. It's just, it was a sign of the times. It's kind of hard because if you're affected by that culturally, it's difficult. Can you meet quality women in rehab? That must have been a comment from somebody else. Couldn't pay me to watch award shows. I agree. I can't watch award shows. I asked Bill Schnee about, I said, do you watch the Grammys? He said, well, I can't. He said, I really can't. I can't watch that. But it's not music for us, remember that. Most people who are here watching this, what do we got now? We got 66 people watching right now. Most people who are watching me here, I mean, I would think they're classic rock fans, right? So I'm being 61. People are either in their 70s. Now and then we'll get people who are in their 80s watching us. Sometimes we get people in their teens that watch us. And I think that's very encouraging. But when I was growing up at 15 and 75, my dad was not watching the Grammys behind me, you know, because he would be in the kitchen looking at the TV from a weird angle. So he was always behind me, kind of scary. Um, he knew it was not music for him. Even though in 75, you'd still get at award shows people like Gordon Lightfoot and I don't know about Bob Dylan, but you get a lot of people from the ilk that were older that responded to older people. Gordon Lightfoot's probably my best example because my whole family like Gordon Lightfoot, and I love Gordon Lightfoot. So I'm waving my hands around like I'm crazy. Clint Eastwood is 90. Yeah. Oh, Queen, is that right? 67 people watching, 67. Usually with a live broadcast, I'll get a few negatives, and that's I don't really pay much attention to the negative ones because I've been in radio so many years. You know, you're not going to please people. Some people will look at you, and I've said this before on this channel. Some people will look at you and they'll say, "I just don't like his face," or "I don't like his personality," and they're right. There's something about me they don't like, or any one of the people who do what I do. There are people who do what I do. Um, that I don't like, you know. But the Sea of Tranquility, Rick Beato, Professor of Rock, love those guys. Can't say enough about them. Um, you know, guys who do their research, you know, guys who are comfortable in front of the camera and aren't pretentious in front of the camera, right? Pulsar Lights, yeah. Well, you know what? Even Ian Anderson told me when he won that Grammy, he thought that was funny. They were in the studio at the time, recording when they found out. One of the Backstreet Boys is 50 years old this year. Is that right, Maria Day? I didn't know that. Rado R. We have any radio people here on here right now? Safe as milk, Captain Beefheart. Well, also Margus. Uh, I used to buy the new musical Melody Maker rather. Was it what's the one in the UK? See, I'm big ignorant. Melody Maker. I used to buy it in the '80s now and then, and I'd look at the charts and I'd go, "Oh my God, I don't recognize. I only recognize half the people on the charts." Greta Van Fleet's first album, that's pretty good. Oh, Kevin Richardson turns 50 from the Backstreet Boys. My daughter, I remember Star Castle, yeah. Not, that's from Mark 187. My daughter was a huge Backstreet Boys fan. Huge. I got her tickets to, I think, one of the tours. I brought her to Bryan Adams. That was her first concert. I had to hold her like this in front of me because everyone in front of us was taller. I'm 5'10", so I'm not just average height. So I held her so she was higher than me. My arms almost fell off, but I wanted her to see the show. So there you go. I'm gonna have to. I'm looking really tired today. Oh, thanks, Joe, for the super chat. I appreciate it. We never asked for donations, but thank you. And I'll keep in mind all the money goes to us advertising at the station. Like I've said before, we reached 80,000 subscribers organically without any advertising whatsoever. And I wanted to do 100,000 that way, but I just said I got to get to 100,000. We'll get better interviews. So anytime you super chat us, we put the money towards advertising, so we can get the word out, right? Because this channel, you know, I'm supposed to say this. Oh, this channel should be at 100,000. It's at 80,000. Because that's where we're at, you know. But we're going to, for the next 20,000, we're going to advertise. I'm stuck on here. I don't know why the comments aren't coming up. Some nice things. GG, I don't know. Sometimes you guys are talking to each other, so we're going to keep up Joe, we're going to keep up the Toto interviews because I've got Steve Lukather in the can. I can't use it till next month. They want me to release it when the album's released. Well, by that time, it'll all be ready. Because we usually work a month or two ahead, that they're actually 2 months worth of interviews every single day on YouTube, that if I get hit by a bus, there'll be 2 months of interviews coming up no matter what. And we're going to do that with Rock History Book, our sister's channel, which is more of our documentary style channel. So I'm trying to get David Paich right now. I know I'm going to get Joseph Williams, for a second time. Steve Lukather was the fourth interview, I think fourth or fifth, fourth. I can't keep track. I'm very bad at keeping how many times I've interviewed someone. Yeah. You'll make, David Dexter, thank you. You'll make 100K. Yeah, it'll be nice because we're verified once we get to 100K subscribers. We're a verified channel. We get out there an awful lot more. We'll obviously make more money. We make an okay living on YouTube, but it could be better. So why not have giveaways at 100,000 and plug it everywhere? Charles, that's a good idea. That's a good idea. I'll have to start asking the people I interview for some autographed albums and stuff like that. What would you guys like to win? Would an autographed LP or autographed CD, does that mean anything to you? Because we could make something work. Everyone likes an autograph. My God, I hate to sound morbid, but especially from the classic rock group, because we're all, I mean, in 20 years, we probably won't have a Beatle. You know, that's sobering. You know what I mean? That's, yeah. I decide to bite the bullet and go for Elton John. I've decided, I know a few people who actually know him, and I've contacted a few of them, and every single one of them says, why not try? Elton John's my favorite artist of all time, and I'm going to try to get Elton John. You never know. It can't hurt to try. Heck, I'm going to try for Ringo. I might even try for Paul McCartney. Oh, I'm getting a little cocky. Yeah. Maria, yeah, we're losing a lot of people. A few times I've asked artists, okay, you know, we're losing people around you, your old friends, and it's happening all the time. And a few artists have said, who was it? Oh, are you going to play this when I die? This clip here? I'm going, I wasn't thinking that, no. I had a good clip for a few artists who passed away, and they talk about, you know, they don't have, no one knows, right? I mean, after this broadcast, I could go and get hit by a bus. There's no bus on this street, for the record, so. Diary of a Madman. I think it's the first time. I haven't looked down here in a while. Excuse me, sorry. Alvin Riedel. Joe Walsh, James Gang, Walk Away. Cindy B. You sound like an artist. It's Cindy B. So there. I've got a lot of, oh my God, a lot of comments today. Thank you. Please, if you like the conversation, like the video, please. I don't know why I don't say that on my videos. I never say, please like our video. I don't know why I don't say it. You know, I'll say buy a t-shirt, and you know, we do okay with our t-shirt sales. It's in the bottom of most of our videos. And the good thing about our t-shirt, even though they can be expensive, if you buy a really high quality t-shirt, they're not cheap. I wish they were cheaper. I don't make the prices. It's not me. Teespring does. Or I think they're just called Spring now. But when people buy our t-shirts, you know, we use that money for advertising as well. It's just, yeah, I don't know. I don't know what I was going to say there. Something really important. Charles O, you're really good at this, Charles O. I was thinking of doing a Patreon thing or a YouTube subscriber thing. The only reason I haven't done that yet is because the thought of me adding something else to the table with 4 channels right now is hard for me. But Shannon, my wife, will be doing more of that, right? I mean, now and then through YouTube, people will send Shannon the weirdest notes. It's like crazy. I mean, I know she's a nice looking lady, but seriously, I'm supposed to say that she's my wife, but I think she's a nice looking lady. And some of the things that people have said about Shannon says, "Oh my," and like publicly, right? We go through the comments, so we erase stuff like that. Kate Bush, I don't think is doing interviews. I interviewed Charlie Morgan, who was her drummer, and I could ask him. I don't like to put artists in that position usually. Thank you, thank you. Was it Johnny K? Jimmy K. Yeah. Well, if I go around saying, "Oh, my wife's gorgeous," it's better if someone else says it. But I just said it, I guess, eh? I like how Go-Go's Belinda Carlisle solo are so different. Yeah, they are. It's nice. I had a chance to interview her, and I forget what happened because I interviewed Kathy Valentine, who was on the show. Kathy was really, really cool. Yeah, I think I rubbed her the wrong way when I said, "Have you ever seen who was it? I'm getting tired. Maybe The Shot." Jeff Lynne, I have not tried for Jeff Lynne. Well, I think Javier, I think that Jethro Tull is better than Metallica, but that's a personal thing, right? You can't say, I had a falling out with a friend, and he had come here before COVID. It was just breaking out. And it wasn't about this, but he said, he says, "Wow, Springsteen sold so much more records than no, John Mellencamp sold so much more records than Springsteen." I went, "Yeah, I don't think so." And I said, "If you're getting mixed up with the fact that," and I said, "I love Mellencamp. I actually would prefer listening to Mellencamp these days than to Springsteen, even though overall I was a bigger Springsteen fan. But you go through phases, right? And those 5, 6 albums that Mellencamp put out between the late 70s onward into the late 80s were just phenomenal albums. And I know he doesn't suffer fools, and I know he's probably not the most sweet person to hang around with, but I have a lot of respect for John Mellencamp. And I had to tell him that. And sometimes it's perception. People just think that because they like something, like it's like Nigel Olson's the best drummer because I like Elton John. I don't feel that. Nigel Olson was the perfect drummer for Elton John. People will say they like Toto, so they'll pick Jeff Porcaro or something. Jeff Porcaro, though, in that case, is one of the world's greatest drummers, even though we lost him in '92. The sax solo in Jungleland is tough to beat, yeah. Pulsar Lights. Yeah, we lost Clarence, right? We lost Clarence Clemens. Who had a better career, Springsteen or Neil Young? No one. It's hard to beat Springsteen as far as. But see, Neil Young had the career he wanted to. And Neil Young's another guy who doesn't suffer fools, right? You might not agree with him politically. I lean more towards him politically, but at the same time, I don't argue about politics with people. I mean, if people are lying, that's one thing. Or they think that somehow there's weird things going in the basement of a pizza place where there's obviously no basement there, or that's just kooky. But Jeff Beck, I've never tried. I don't think I've ever tried. Sammy Hagar, I don't think I've tried. I'm not saying that I'm not going to, but thank you for the suggestions. We're all kind of off topic now. Jeff Lynne and ELO, the whole thing sounds so big and wonderful. But I think that of the new Toto, I think their new sound is bigger. They have more singers now. Sting without the Police? Oh, you mean Sting? Oh, yeah, Sting. I saw Sting with Peter Gabriel. And I saw Sting with the Police. Oh, I feel it now. I think, is that it there? I don't know where my vaccine, I got sidetracked by my vaccine. Oh, it's starting to hurt a little bit. Yeah, I can feel it there. It feels a little bruised. I got the Pfizer vaccine um, if anyone's curious. Yeah, I'm starting to feel a little bit. Shannon couldn't lift after her vaccine. Shannon, my wife, couldn't lift her hand past this the night of the vaccine. But it's the weekend, so I'm going to have a little scotch tonight. So maybe I won't feel it anyway. I don't know. I remember I was in high school. There was a girl in high school. She's a very popular girl. She barely ever talked to me. Not that I wasn't popular in high school, but I played hockey, so I got around a little bit. I don't mean it that way. But, you know, you get accepted by, and I was the music guy in high school. I was definitely a music guy. So she came up to me and she says, because I used to make funny faces with my, she's, you have a really rubbery face. And I remember going, thank you? I don't know. What do you say? Read in the comments, folks. I have to admit, even Ian Anderson told me, he says, I don't know what were we doing in that category, because they didn't know where to put them. They didn't know where to put Jethro Tull. And yeah, it's Randy Bachman. When the guy says it, that's good enough for me. But he also says he doesn't mind if people say Bachman, because Bachman sounds better. You know, everyone in the 70s said Bachman Turner Overdrive, but it's Bachman. And I've talked to a lot of other people about pronunciations of their name. Oh, Bill Schnee. I said Schnee in the 70s. I used to say Bill Schnee. And I told him what the Bernie Ledden said. And everyone used to say Bernie Leadon, because it reads like Leadon of the Eagles. Bernie Leadon on the phone told me one day, he says, as long as they make out the checks, they write out the right name, I don't care. Glenn Fry. In the 70s, I said Glenn Frey because it was before the internet. But it was Fry. Glenn Shorrock of Little River Band. It's Glenn Shorrock. Oh, I could go on and on. But Rick Ocasek. It's Rick Ocasek. You know, there's a whole bunch of them. Neil Peart. It's Peart. It's not Pert. And besides, I know people who knew him. You know, I won't go on. When I got on there and I said, I did a few early Rush videos on this channel and I said Neil Peart's name wrong. You know, I don't like to do videos on anyone unless I know their name. But now and then I'll still get someone's name wrong. I'll still screw it up, but it's rare. Sam USA, Supertramp Breakfast in America, one of my favorite albums of all time. Neil Peart, it's Eart. Look at ear, Peart. I was just talking to Andy Curran, who was the A&R guy of Anthem Records yesterday. He was. And we both talked about Neil Peart. Some guy was arguing with me about that, and I'm going, I don't want to argue with you. You're saying it wrong. But say it any way you want. You know what I mean? Eagles, One of These Nights album. I go back and forth, by the way, Sam USA, from Hotel California to One of These Nights, because I like the more experimental stuff on One of These Nights. You know, the Bernie Ledden stuff. Sammy Hagar. Yeah, it is Sammy Hagar. But a lot of people say Hagar, I say it. And Sammy says he doesn't care. He didn't tell me that. Who else? There's a whole bunch of them that the names are said wrong. And it's the, like Randy Bachman says, he doesn't really, he says, you know, whatever. As long as he keep buying the records. I got the Moderna vaccine last night in my poor 63-year-old arm. Starting this morning, it felt, oh, you felt beat up and bruised? I am Mantis. Oh, I am Mantis. You've been on here before. Yeah, I remember you. Well, Genesis, I've interviewed Steve Hackett 5 times, right? Daryl Sturmer probably about 5 times, but he's not a main member. He's just a touring guitarist. I don't mean just, right? I interviewed Anthony Phillips twice, but not the trio. I never interviewed anybody. The closest I got to the trio was Daryl Sturmer. Alan Parsons, iRobot. Sam USA, I like your style of music. That opening from iRobot, I remember the first time I played that, I had an okay stereo at the time, but that even made my stereo sound good. Um, Remember the Fresh Air records? They always made the Mannheim Steamroller made your record player sound amazing. You know those first three, four Fresh Air albums. They all sounded good, but they used to test stereos with that. The Tarney Spencer Band. I forget the name of the album. Not the self-titled one. The other one was another. If your music if your album sounds good with your stereo rather with the I'm getting tired. Sorry, with the Tarney Spencer Band, you're rocking it. I can't pronounce Joe your last name. That's why I always call you just Joe. Yeah, Daryl Strummer's from Milwaukee. I remember his. I think I've told you guys his wife. What's his wife's name? She called me. It'll come to me. Sorry, I'm really tired. I got the shot today. Maybe that's it. Michaela. Daryl Strummer's wife's name is Michaela. She called me on the air once. I used to be doing the afternoon drive show here. And she says, "Oh, Daryl told me you have an autistic daughter." Oh, well, my best friend or something, I forget what it was, has an autistic daughter. And she's, "Do you need resources?" Or, she was so nice. And I thought, what a beautiful thing to do. And out of nowhere, Daryl Sturmer's publicist called me one day when Phil was in Toronto. This would have been 12 years ago or whatever. And Phil was doing a solo tour. And she said, "Oh, can you get to?" It was either Montreal or Toronto. They were at, and Daryl told me that you wanted to meet Phil. Can you get? How far is Toronto or whatever it was? Montreal, not Andor, or I think it was Toronto. Can you get there like by tonight? I went, "Oh, I'm doing the afternoon show. It's like 3 o'clock here, right? I just gotten on the air." And I said, "I'm in Calgary. I mean, I physically couldn't make it to to Toronto in time for the show." But I thought that was really, really nice, that he wanted me to meet Phil Collins. I wanted to meet Phil Collins, but he just at the last minute thought, "Oh, wow, John wants to meet Phil. Let's get him here." But I haven't talked to Daryl Sturmer probably for 12 years, 13, 11, I don't know. A long time. Boston, don't look back. Feeling satisfied. Cranked at 11. Yeah. Top 40 hub. Nice to have you back. Later, brother. Rock on. Yeah, Joe, you know what? I think, Valerio. Even Italians sometimes can't pronounce my family name. Is it Ambrogi? Ambrogi? Ambragi? I don't know. I'm not being French. Sometimes it helps me pronounce names, and sometimes it doesn't. Oh, my laptop just died. Okay. Phil Collins gives good interviews. He does. D. Ambrogi, but you really got it. Oh, okay. Anyway, guys, I got to go because my I don't like going staring off and seeing the things. I'm recording this on my iPhone. We got $40.97 of donations. Thank you. We weren't asking for it. We didn't come on here for that. But when people want to super chat us, we always appreciate it. Thank you. The money goes to advertising. Please, please like the video, because someone had just mentioned this a while ago, and I completely forgot about this. Algorithm-wise, does help the performance of not only this video, but the videos on this channel when you do that. Later, dude. Always enjoy your channel, Jim McKay. Thank you, Marcus. Thanks, John. Great stream as always. Well, I still have to go downstairs and do the green screen stuff because usually when I do a live broadcast, I'm ignoring something else. I don't want to do something because I have to be so focused when I do the green screen intros and extras of all these interviews, by the way. Hold on. So coming up for the Canadian channel from Anthem Records and Coney Hatch, the Canadian band, the Canadian channel, remember. Andy Curran's coming up. Bill Schnee, the engineer for so many albums, Carly Simon, Steely Dan, and Pablo Cruz, he's coming up. Boston's Jim Masdia, He's going to talk about things he's not happy about concerning Tom Scholes. Christopher Ward for the Canadian channel. He's got a new album called Same River Twice. He's coming up on Rock History Canada. Kylie Fox on Rock History Canada. Richie Fiore on this channel. Serge Tagniradno from Enid and Friends. More of him on this channel. Stan Peters on the Canadian channel. Steve Lukather on this channel coming up, as well as Joseph Williams, maybe David Page. Valerie Shearman on the Canadian channel. She is the widow of Buzz Shearman, who was the lead singer of Moxie. People in Texas will know them very well. Mark Farner from Grand Funk fame will be on this channel. Felix Cavalieri is coming up on this channel, and a whole bunch more. There you go. Anyway, take care of yourselves. Please take care of yourselves and stay safe, okay, guys?